New tonight, North Carolina lawmakers say the state will investigate how Nash County's Department of Social Services handled reports of abuse involving an 8-year-old girl. That little girl died earlier this month. Her grandmother is accused of beating her to death. Today, WRAL's Lena Tillett spoke exclusively with a family member about this tragedy. First, WRAL's Keenan Willard joins us now to explain the state's decision to clarify its earlier statement about a follow-up investigation. Keenan.
And it's important, Deborah, because WRAL's team has been pressing on this issue for a week now since this fatal incident. Today, North Carolina's Department of Health and Human Services tells me they do hold local social service offices accountable, despite saying days earlier they only offer technical support and resources to counties, not investigate them. One state lawmaker says this investigation is necessary, calling this a horrible situation that has to be looked into.
Child should have been removed. Child should not have died if action had been taken.
That's North Carolina Senator Gladys Robinson talking about the case of 8-year-old Christal Lane. The Nash Sheriff's Office says a week ago today, Lane was beaten to death by her grandmother, Patricia Ricks. WRAL has learned that back in December, Ricks had already been reported to Nash Social Services for child abuse after her granddaughter went to school badly beaten. The Nash School District says investigators visited campus multiple times, but Lane wasn't removed from her grandmother's custody.
In this case, it is apparent that the child should have been removed from the house based on the seriousness of the abuse and the physical abuse that was obvious.
On Friday, WRAL reached out to the State Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees Nash DSS. We asked if they would be investigating how the county handled this case. In response, DHHS said their role is only to provide technical support and resources to counties. Senator Robinson says that's not accurate, and state law mandates that DHHS investigate how social services handled the death of a child. Today, she tells us DHHS will be investigating Nash Social Services.
The department will be conducting an investigation at the Nash County DSS to determine what procedures were followed, what actually happened, and if there are any other cases like that as well, too.
We reached out to DHHS today to ask why the department told us on Friday it wouldn't be investigating.
Why the difference in the answer and the investigation 3 days apart?
And so in that technical assistance, it includes training of county staff. It also includes oversight of county practice and case reviews.
DHHS says it's standard practice to investigate child deaths connected to social service investigations. And they could look at other abuse cases to see what changes the county needs to make.
Was this just one thing that happened in one case, or is it a trend? And in order to do that, you start with one case, look at case samples.
Robinson says if the findings are severe enough, the state could even assume control of Nash DSS.
There are several steps depending on what they find, but all the way to taking over.
Now, we did reach out to Nash Division of Social Services to ask about a response from them to this investigation. They did not get back to us. Now, WRAL's Lena Tillett spoke with a relative of Patricia Ricks today. It is the very first time we're hearing from one of her family members. Lena.
Yeah, that's right, Keenan. I talked with Patricia Ricks' first cousin, Arva Johnson, who's actually a former police officer. Johnson did not even know what happened to little Christal Lane. She was stunned and silent for several seconds. Johnson then said this was completely out of character for Patricia Ricks. She recalled Ricks even speaking about her grandchildren with pride, sharing pictures and making video calls often.
She was well-mannered, and she always said she loved those grandchildren. She would never let anything happen to them. That's why she took them from her children and said she would raise them, her and her husband both. It's hard to believe.
And I also asked Johnson the question so many are asking tonight: could this have been prevented? As you heard in Keenan's story, Ricks was being investigated for another incident of child abuse against this same grandchild in December, Christal. Johnson asked why the child was let back into the home and why the Division of Social Services didn't take urgent action.
I still can't imagine her doing that to a child. That's her grandchild. That she, said she could take care of them. She told me she could take care of them. It was hard, but she was going to take care of them, just keep them, safe. And then she ends up killing one of them. I can't understand what made her snap, though.
And we are certainly asking questions on every level of this story, and we'll update you as we learn more. Deborah?
Lena and Keenan, thank you very much.